Namaste. Thank you so much, Shivani, and thank you for inviting me for this wonderful initiative what you've taken up. And I'm extremely happy to be with all of you. Thank you.
So when I used to live near Vispo Valley for a long time. And when I saw Mahaprasthanam, I was thinking it was a resort. And it was so beautifully done. I mean, how did you get the inspiration to do something so beautiful?
The inspiration, I would say it is a necessity which happened, when my father died in 2007. So I had the visit to the crematorium in Guntur, my hometown. So earlier I have gone to several crematoriums to see someone getting cremated, but when I was in Guntur for my father, I spent at least about 2-3 hours there because the whole process, and I had to go the second day also for several ceremonies. So that was the time when I found that, in India, we have the lowest priority for the crematoriums. So that was the time I understood that we don't have proper space to sit, proper shelter to stand during the summer or during the rains or whatever, and no amenities whatsoever in several places, what we have seen. So I don't know, it went into my mind and it was wavering around in my mind for quite a long time. And probably I think a couple of years later, when one of my friend was the municipal commissioner at that time, Mr. Samir Sharma. So we were traveling, in a car, and suddenly, I don't know why it came. I suddenly asked him, I would like to develop a crematorium, and I asked him for space. So the whole thing was initiated because of maybe my father's inspiration or whatever. So his death must have caused the trigger in me.
You also did the same thing in Guntur, I heard.
We did in Guntur. We did it in several places. Now almost we have did on our own, or we helped more than 50 locations. 50. And now we want to take the mission across the country. So we have done in several other cities and states also, including Puri of Odisha, which is called the Eastern Swargadwar of India. So every day about 100 bodies come there. So we successfully completed that. And we are now trying to do one in Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh. We're also planning in Varanasi, the Harishchandra Ghat, which is supposed to be the most holy places of the country. And the Harishchandra, the King Harishchandra was the Katikapuri there. So that Ghat needed a lot of development. So I visited there and we are working on it. We are also working on Ayodhya. So yeah, I think I'm quite keen that this message goes across the country. So that is my idea.
Many people from Andhra and Telangana go to Kasi for their beloved ancestors to do pujas, or when anybody passes away, we go there to leave the ashes. And when I see the plight out there, it's heartbreaking. Thanks to our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, we now have cleaner water. I would put Mokulu and I would go there to dip myself in the water, and it would be horrendous in the beginning. But the last 2-3 trips I've made were really refreshing, to get dip in the Ganga and to understand that you're doing something in Harishchandra Ghat is so we all thank you so much for taking on the responsibility, which you have nothing to do and you're doing it out of service. Thank you so much.
Shivani Garu, I would like to comment on that. About 3 months back, this year, 3 months back, I was in Varanasi with my whole family, and I'm extremely sorry for the plight of conditions there. Yes, there was a lot of development which has happened thanks to our Prime Minister Modi, but I believe only 10% has been done. We have, I'm not talking about crematoriums alone. Crematoriums, yes, there are 2 crematoriums, the Manikarnika Ghat and Harishchandra Ghat. Absolutely, if you really want to see the Naraklok, you can see there. The plight of the cremations, the mafia there, you can't even take a body properly, all the 3 feet the streets there. So apart from all these, when you're talking about the dipping in the Ganga, it's still very, very bad. Still very, very bad. You can't even imagine. And there, COVID no one bothers. They say when we ask some people why they are not maintaining social distancing or masks, they say, sir, we are in the Bhumi of Shiva. This is the Rudra Bhumi. So Shiva will take care of us. And worst thing, if we die, we are anyway going to hell. So there's a lot of effort need to be done there.
Thank you so much on behalf of so many people across the world. Hindus across the world come there to dip, and whenever we go to a temple and whenever we go to Kasi or any of our pilgrimage centers, when we see the dirt and the filth, we are heartbroken. Thank you so much for taking up this issue for all of us.
I've taken up, but it will take a lot of hardship to get to the end of it, because a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of local mafia, a lot of local issues. They don't allow you to do something good. For example, your own Whisper Valley. You said you were there. When I took up this project, the biggest obstruction and objection came from Whisper Valley. They thought, this was a closed crematorium and no one is using it, so no disturbance for them. So when I took it up, they thought, something is happening, there will be a lot of rush and pollution, and so we shouldn't allow that. So several of my friends who were living in Whisper Valley came and met me and said, Suresh, don't do it. But I had to literally convince them, spend a lot of time explaining what it is and how we are doing. Finally, they agreed. And today, they are the ones who appreciate us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because in Hyderabad, anybody I'm sure would be approaching you for this.
Yeah. And like you said, you thought it was a resort. Some people thought I'm doing a real estate project there. So some people thought that I have occupied that land and I'm doing a real estate project when they saw my boat there.
Yeah. So what is it about your designs which are so unique?
There is no rocket science in the whole thing, Andy. The designs which are unique, because of our background in infrastructure and property development. We brought in certain processes there and certain philosophy in the design element. So it's a simple thing. We wanted them to be clean, neat, and also we have done it in such a way that when one cremation is happening at one pyre, the other people who are walking around should not be able to see the cremation happening. So, in several places in Hyderabad, when we go into a crematorium, you keep seeing, 5 or 6 cremations happening, and it depresses you a lot. So what we have tried to do is, we have tried to design it in such a way that privacy is maintained at the cremation area. So only the family would be able to be there and watch it, and the others who are passing by need not get disturbed by that. So that kind of philosophy I've used, and we have added many things. We have added the locker rooms. We have added, cold storage, cold room. We have added, many gardens. We have added canteen. We try to make it as sustainable as possible. And now I can proudly say this crematorium is fully with solar power. So we have added total solar energy into it. We are now looking at, this is Panjagutta, what we are trying to do. And, for the last 1.5 years, we were not allowed to progress further. So hopefully we will be able to complete it. The last 20% is remaining, and it has been 2 years since we are allowed to get in because of the local issues and all. So hopefully we will be able to complete this Panjagutta and open it for public in Hyderabad.
One thing I've noticed is now, thanks to you all, there is a cold storage, you're saying. Other things I've noticed is whenever we Hindus go to a temple or a crematorium, people hound us for tips. And I don't see this happening in your crematorium.
If you again go back to the traditional, crematoriums, what we have in this country, one is they are the most neglected spaces. 2, every one of us think that we don't go there. We think we are going to be eternal. We are going to be in this world for the next 1,000 years or whatever. Because if people have thought that ultimately we also need to be there, and we also need to be cremated, they would have looked at these spaces as very holy spaces. Because what is happening here in the present situation in India is that these spaces are neglected. There is no space for standing or waiting or anything. The people who are working there, they are not treated as proper human beings. The Kartikaparis have the lowest respect in this country, right? So then what happens is, because they are dealing with bodies every day, so they try to, drink so that they can be a little stable. They don't groom themselves properly. They don't dress themselves properly, and they don't eat properly. So with all these things, what happens is they try to get as much money as possible for their other habits. So everywhere in the crematoriums, you see, officially they might ask you to pay about 3,000 or 5,000 rupees, but they seek tips so that that is the main area of their survival. In addition to all these things, most of the crematoriums are held by the mafia gangs in this country, because this is where they make a lot of money, on the wood, on tips, on various things. So what we have consciously done is, we have looked into all these areas. What we have consciously done is, we decided that there should be some respect to the workers there. Vanigaru, can you ask people to switch off their, audios, mute their audios, all the participants?
Prerna, could you take care of that?
Yeah. So what is happening is, we wanted to give respect to these employees. So the first thing what we did is, when we started, training them, we told them they are the employees of the foundation. So that means they get proper monthly salaries, they get proper increments, they get their yearly bonuses, they get the uniforms, they also get insurance for their entire family, they get scholarships for their children, they also get incentives, for body or whatever. So with all these things, we try to educate them that they should not look for tips. So that's why what we have done is everywhere in the collectorate where we built, we put large boards that tips should not be given to our employees because they're happy, they're self-sustained, and they're taken care of by the foundation. So they don't need to look at others to give them tips.
I wish that most of our temples and our holy places take a page from you so that the people managing them are well taken care of, like you are doing in managing this place, and ensure, because when NRIs come from across the world, when we go to any of our temples and when we see our premises dirty, when we see people asking for tip or hounding for tip, it's really sad. You are one of the first persons to have started this process, whereby I'm so happy to see that you're a pioneer out here.
No. I have not created anything, Amma. Whatever corporate process and how we take care of our corporate employees. So I made them a part of my corporate. So whatever I'm doing for my other employees, we did for them. So there is nothing new. It is only, we looked at them as a different business. And thank you, you highlighted properly on the temples. I would not name, but I am one of the trustees of one of the temple in Hyderabad. So I recently joined about 3 months back or so. So during the first trust board meeting, we were discussing on various issues. And then I came to know that the temple priests, can you believe, I don't know whether many of you know, the temple priest salaries are ranging from 3,000 or 6,000 to a maximum of 4,000. So when I asked the earlier members, how do these people survive? And why are we giving them such low salaries? One interesting, answer I got, a very, very strange answer. One of the trustees tells me, no, you are mistaken. These people get so much of tips or collections. So some of these people have bought 2-3 apartments in the city. So they are very rich. They can survive. I said, that is not our problem. See, they're getting something which a devotee is giving to them. That is a dakshina which a Brahmin can get. But you are supposed to give him proper salary, proper housing or whatever. Otherwise, how will he survive? For example, in the last 1.5 years, all the temples were closed. And there is no dakshina or anything in these temples. So when there are no devotees, how will you get money? So how did these people survive? Their wife, their children, their education, everything. So it is pity that we treat the most important people, the priests, who are the ones who are between the devotee and the god. They are the middlemen, and they are not being properly paid or properly treated. Very unfortunate. So this is another area you should actually take up on this one.
We will. Another point is, do you have bathrooms in these places?
Absolutely.
Generally, when someone passes away, people would like to have a bath and then go. Do you have them?
Absolutely. We have shower rooms, we have toilets, we have, only, wash areas for your legs. So everything has been incorporated in it. We have CCTV cameras. People can have live streaming from US or any other country for the near ones if they can't come. We have that also.
So there are two things I would like to thank you. One is I had gone to a Shanishwaralaya temple in Godavari districts, and it was supposed to be an auspicious day. There were 20,000 people doing pujas, and after the puja, they're supposed to have a bath and leave everything that they have, and there is not a single bathroom there. People were having baths outside. I mean, this is the situation in our country when all of us are most of us, at least some of us who are affluent, can afford to do that. And you have taken the first step and shown a pathway out here. Another thing is, a lot of people in COVID times have lost their parents or their well-wishers or someone they were close to. And it was just next to impossible to deal with the grief. And allowing us to see the last rites through the CCTV is another fantastic thing that you have done. I think this is also perhaps because you're managing the place, you are able to do all this.
I will give you a very small example. Of course, during COVID days, everyone was afraid. Even the workers were afraid of attending to these bodies. So what we have done is, there was a lot of pressure because our own near and dear, many of our friends, relatives, and very close families we have seen, and what many of them expired. So initially, we were not allowed to open our crematoriums for COVID patients, by the government also, because they earmarked 2 or 3 places and they said only COVID bodies should go there. But the moment the second wave hit, or even during the first wave also, when more bodies were coming, more deaths were happening, there was a lot of pressure on us because a lot of VIPs, a lot of people are dying. And so then what we did is we told the government that we will take the responsibility and we will do it. So interestingly, because my workers were afraid of dealing with this, so what we did, thanks to my friends, Raghunath Reddy and Guru of Continental Hospital. So I had an interesting chat with them. I asked them, your people are dealing with the COVID patients, right? So will you be able to give me 3 or 4 people who are the workers in the COVID unit, whom I can train and use because they have the mortuary, they have everything, right? So I asked him, and immediately what he did, he sent me 4 people to work for me for 3 months. Of course, we paid for them, but those people we trained in our electric furnace, and immediately we opened the crematorium and we barricaded the entire crematorium and made electric furnace exclusively for COVID patients. And these 4 people who came from Continental hospitals helped us initially for the first 3 months, help us. So we were doing almost 30 bodies a day. You will not believe. From morning till night, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Government was, Osmania hospitals and other hospitals where, open bodies or things were there. They were brought here in the evening, in vans, and they were, getting them cremated here because they didn't have any other alternative. So what we have done, by the time our workers also understood that, there is no great danger for them. So they also agreed that, okay, we will also do it. And then it got into normal. So one interesting thing happened, in some cases, like you said, the life. One case where this person was in Vijayawada, his family. He was brought to Hyderabad for hospitalization. His wife and son were also in a hospital in Vijayawada. So this gentleman died here. So there were no attendants here. Only his brother was in London, and he's a friend of Guru Reddy of Sunshine. And he's also here, also happened to be with me. So Guru Reddy was handling it in the hospital. And unfortunately, this gentleman died. So none of the family members were able to come here. And they didn't want the body to go to Vijayawada. So they did not know what to do. So they had requested us. So I sent my vehicle. My people brought the body. We did the cremation. We did a video shoot of that. And we sent it to the family. And we sent the certificate, everything to them. So this is how in the COVID times, we were able to really support people who are in distress.
I have seen in Delhi and certain other places, there used to be queues for cremation grounds. But thanks to you, Hyderabad at least had one facility which was taking care of the need at that point. It was ready in COVID times. And so many facilities.
I would say that in Hyderabad, most of the crematoriums were, at the second phase, they were opened up and, they were able to help. So, because only one crematorium wouldn't have been able to take the entire treasure. But yes, we were able to do whatever best we could do. And, thanks to my employees, they really fought COVID. And some of them got COVID, we got them admitted in Continental, Sunshine and others, but everyone survived. So we understand the difficulty, because even my corporate employees also, some people died. We know what tragedy went through. Right?
So I have a question, Andy. You have a vision that, see, when we go to Europe or America, we see that it's very peaceful when you go to a graveyard. And now we would like to bring this about across India, you said, and that's the vision that you have, and that's the vision that we have from Vishwa. So what's your vision for crematoriums across India? How can we support Pan-India?
What has happened in the last 3-4 years? Let me appreciate Chief Minister KCR Garu. When we inaugurated this crematorium at the hands of Venkaiah Naidu Garu, so it caught the attention of the entire country and the state, right? And people were not able to understand why Union Urban Development Minister at such a high stature is inaugurating a crematorium. And we had, the Deputy CM, Nayan Narasimha Reddy, the members of parliament, the MLAs, all of them supported this, and all of them were at the inauguration, and we had a public meeting there. So this really caught up, and it caught the eye of the Chief Minister. So quickly he understood what it is, and he said, this is what is required for this state. So immediately what he has done is, during the collectors conference, which happened after 2 months or 3 months, he asked all the collectors to visit the crematorium and have breakfast at the crematorium. So I had about 40 odd collectors and IAS officers and mayors and municipal commissioners who came to my crematorium, and they had breakfast. They saw the entire thing and got inspired by it. And when they went back to the conference, the Chief Minister gave instructions to them that they should develop similar crematoriums across the state in their districts. And quickly he released a government order saying that, in villages, he would be giving about 10 lakhs for every crematorium in the villages. And he directed all the collectors to take it up as a priority basis. And not only that, in every meeting with the politicians and with the officers, he takes it up as a priority. And recently also under Palle Pragati, he gave very clear instructions that crematoriums are very, very important and it has to be taken up. I would also like to appreciate that with that initiative, many collectors like Siddipet collector, Sangareddy collector, together they have done almost about 900 villages crematoriums. So the inspiration of this one crematorium, what we have done, has caught up in Telangana in a big way. Many MLAs, in Siddipet we have done, in Sirisila we have done, in Gajver we have done, in Khammam, in many villages, many towns we are doing. We have helped them. Then now we are planning in Madhapur. We are planning in Miryalaguda. The MLAs are very, very keen on getting these done, the larger ones in the cities. Of course, we are doing in other states. We are helping Rajasthan. We are helping Ahmedabad. Yesterday, I was in Ahmedabad meeting the commissioner of Mohammadabad Corporation. UP, the Namami Gange, cleaning authority, National Ganga Cleaning Authority. Fortunately, the Director General is our Andhra Cadre officer, Rajiv Ranjan Mishra. So he came here, he saw the crematorium, and he said, Suresh, you need to help me. So we started in Mirzapur, which is under construction now. He said, we will support you in Varanasi. So things are going. Now, Puri, another example of Puri. In North India, Kasi is the most holiest place for cremations, right? In East India, they feel that it is Puri, the Jagannath temple city, is the eastern Swargadwar of the country. So they believe that Lord Shiva came from Kashi to Puri, and from there he went to Kailash. So they feel it is a Rudrabhumi, and in Orissa, anyone who dies, they try to take the body to Puri. So about 100 bodies are cremated every day. And they had 16 acres of land, and over the period of last 100 years, about 15 acres has been occupied by large buildings. Now they have only 1 acre, sea facing. So they didn't know what to do. One of the officers who's known to me came to Hyderabad, saw this Hyderabad crematorium. He got so impressed. So he immediately went and spoke to the district collector of Puri and invited me there. So we had a long discussion. I went to Puri, we saw the place. It was horrible. So it's like Kasi. So I said, okay, we will plan something. They quickly arranged a meeting with the chief minister. And when I took a presentation to the chief minister, in half an hour, he said, Mr. Suresh, please go ahead. His father's grave was there, occupying almost 200 yards in the 1 acre which is built. So we said, I told him, no one was able to talk to him in that manner. So I told him, sir, there is an obstruction there. We can't do much there. He said, okay, let me think of it. The meeting was over. He said, yes, let us do it. By the time I was discussing with the officers and out in half an hour, there was a TV, the media was reporting that he told the media that my father's grave is getting removed. My father is in the hearts of millions of Odisha people, and he doesn't need to be there physically. And I am sanctioning 5 crores. We will do it immediately. And you will not believe the next day the GO came, and in 3 days, dozers went and just removed the grave. So hats off to visionaries like KCR Garu and Naveen Patnaik and others. So they have really taken it up in a big way. In fact, I'll also tell you, our late Kodal Shiv Prasad. So he was so impressed. He came here, he spent so many hours with me. And when he was Satanpalli MLA and speaker, so he initiated about 150 crematoriums in his constituency with the design we gave. So the motivation and inspiration has gone across the country. And we are now trying to make it more popular, this mission. So I'm asking some people to make a video song, motivational video song on this. So I've asked one Grammy Award winner, Ricky Cage, he's in Bangalore, so to work on that. So probably in the next 1 month or so, we'll get a musical, motivational video. So hopefully, these things will help.
I have a question, Andy. Is this only for the elite of the country? Only the VVIPs have access to this?
When you say VVIPs, whenever any one of them go to crematorium, they don't see whether you are a VVIP or an ordinary man, you are an SC or a PC or anything, right? You're a human being. And let me ask you one thing. What does it mean by a VVIP?
This was a question asked by one of the participants, yes, so I'm asking.
I understand. See, here there are two issues. In our country, we also feel, that, it's a, I would say, penny-wise, pound-foolish attitude, right? The governments think, the crematorium should not charge more than, 5,000 or 8,000 or, in some cases, 2,000 or 3,000, right? Because these crematoriums or these governments are putting certain restrictions. What is happening is, officially, they might charge only 3,000 or 4,000 or maybe 8,000 or 10,000. But unofficially, they are taking tips or other things from these people, right? You need to make the crematorium self-sustaining model, right? And I'm not saying, today, when a person dies, when a near and dear dies, even the poorest of the person, he will spend the minimum of amount, right? So spending 5,000, 10,000 is not a big thing, right? And in Mahaprasthanam here, the maximum they take is only 10,000 donation. They cannot take a rupee more than that, right? And today, if you have about 24, 25 employees, and if you need to sustain these people and maintain these areas, even that is not enough. But what I am trying to tell is, in many areas, people say that, no, don't charge, don't do this. So what you get, what service you get? You don't get any service there. You don't have any space to stand. So what I feel, all your listeners or viewers here, would anyone hesitate to spend 10,000 rupees when a near and dear dies?
No, I don't think so.
And if you're talking about a VIP, if I ask a VIP, they will pay 1 lakh, they'll pay 2 lakhs. I've seen in many instances where some of these pundits or purohits or whatever, these fellows who assist the cremation for the families. You'll laugh when I say this, This fellow says, sir, there is 3 categories. So you want the highest category, it will cost you about 70,000 or 1 lakh. When I asked, what is this category? He says, no, sir, we will put sandalwood, we'll put cow ghee, we will put this, we'll put that, we'll put 100 other things, right? And so it will be 1 lakh. So all those things, what he is talking about, will not even cost 15,000. So it is the psyche, I will tell you, one of our own close friend, you also know, I also know, his father expired. And this fellow is, somehow someone attached him to that family. And he went to the mother, said, Madam, Ayagaru has gone, so let us do the highest thing. I'll put so much of sandalwood, so much of this, so much of that. And in that mental state, what she says, no, do whatever you want. Money is not the issue. So the extraction of money is happening with these people, right? Not with the actual crematorium. And recently, I think about 6 months back, I saw there is one young girl from, I think, Calcutta or so. She started a cremation service. So she started a business, cremation services. And she said in 5 or 6 cities, you just give a phone call and we will do everything. So what she is doing, she is engaging a van fellow. She's engaging one crematorium. So she pays to the crematorium maybe 10,000 or something. She pays to the van fellow maybe 3,000, and the pandit another 3,000-4,000, and she is charging them 70,000. So people are making business of it. And then I was surprised, you know, she says, I have operations in Hyderabad also. So suddenly I was a little worried. I verified, you know, whether she is using my crematorium. So fortunately, she is not.
Okay.
So this is the way when people are in mental state of losing their near and dear ones, they are more interested in seeing a peaceful send-off rather than bargaining on money.
Right.
So to answer your question very clearly, the Mahaprasthanams we created are not for VIPs or not for anyone who thinks he's a VIP. It's for every human being.
Since we are running out of time, I'll ask you 2 more questions. If we are planning to go across the country and there are municipalities and corporations and panchayats, how will the design be different for each of these?
See, it depends primarily on what is the pressure you have. Pressure meaning, on an average, how many bodies you get per day or per month. Based on that, you need to design how many pyres you need. Initially, we never thought we get pressure here in Vispravas, right? So we had only 1 electric and 3 regular pyres. Then when pressure started, we need to add up some additional pyres. So we kept on adding pyres. So we are now adding another additional electric pyre. So it all depends on the city, the town, the village. In village, hardly you get, you know, once in a week, once in a month. You don't need a larger amount. So that's why we gave a design for 1 single pyre with about 10 lakh or 12 lakh cost. So other than that, it is clearly designed based on the location and the requirement.
So now that you're saying that we would like that your vision and Vishwa's vision is to take this across the country, how can you support people if they want to do something like this in their village, in their town? How could you support them?
See, there are 2 things. One, it's humanly impossible to support everyone, right? But what we could do is, depending upon the requests and requirements, we could definitely help them with some standard designs, which we already have. If they need a larger picture and site-specific design, and if it's a larger town or a city, definitely I will be too happy to support them with a site-related design and guide them as to how to implement it. We will be too happy because my interest is that every one of us need to give back to the society, and it could be in many ways, not necessarily in finance, right? You can give your time, you can give your good word, or you can recommend to people. You can talk to the local district collector or the panchayat officer or the MLA and convince him to do it for your community. So any of these things can happen right? So money is not the only criteria for this. So I would strongly urge all the listeners, if they can take it up and through Vishwa or through any or even directly to us, we will be too happy to guide them, connect them, and help them. And if it is in Telangana, we can directly speak to the collectors. They are already having money sanctioned by the government, so they can take up the money. You know, government gives 10 lakhs. If any one of you want to add and put your family name, the government has clearly instructed, if additional funds are required and any local person is wanting to give money, they can add their family name to the crematorium. So we could support them in connecting the dots and helping them do it.
Okay. So we'll take some questions, a couple of questions. Can you unmute Mr. Srinivas, please?
Yes. Thank you,
Yes.
Shivani Garu. And first and foremost, I'm thankful to Suresh Garu because he is trying to give respect to those our beloved ones at the death also. And so second thing, we had the unsung hero of hockey, that Naveen Patnaik, what he did just fine. But as far the Vijayawada and other towns are concerned, you are saying that's everything's fine, Suresh Garu. But what about that areas here, most neglected areas? That also I think you need to take up, because okay, as far as Telangana is concerned, we're doing wonderful work, and unfortunately, my mother and my daughter and both we are able to use Mahaprasthanam. I'm very thankful for that. But what about other places? But I know that you have limitations, and we also ready just now as per to Jan to Vishwas, and we'll do something. But what about other Vijayawada and other important places? Thank you.
Vani Garu, Srinivas Garu, I'm sorry, Andy. I understand your wife and your daughter passed away, and I'm extremely sorry for that. See, what is happening is I'm a very small person in this society, and I have very limited resources. And kindly understand that I don't take any donations from anyone. I have never taken, and I will never take, right? So what all I've done so far is within my own resources, and thanks to Phoenix Group, my Phoenix Foundation was supported by the Phoenix Group, and we were able to do all this. But what is happening today is, there are several ways of doing these crematoriums. You know, you're talking about Vijayawada. Vijayawada, there are a lot of philanthropists who came together, and they have definitely upgraded, and they are maintaining several crematoriums in Krishnalanka and other places. I've personally visited them also. They can be fine-tuned even to a better extent, but they have definitely given a better this thing. In Kakinada, in Rajahmundry, they have several good crematoriums which locals have taken upon themselves and did, right? Everything an individual like me cannot do. So people like all of you should come together, create a good society or a group where you could talk to the corporation, they have funds. You could talk to the corporates, they have CSR funds. You could talk to anyone or politicians, members of parliament who have MP-led funds. So all these funds can be utilized for this. And the only thing is the trigger point, I'll tell you. So this is not a new thing. The trigger point in Telangana came because we built the crematorium, and it got the eye of the chief minister, right? And he took it on himself to promote this. The trigger point will come in every other location. And I'll also tell you, I'm likely to take this to the Honorable Prime Minister through some of the sources I have, and, show it to him that this is the need of the hour and he has to implement it across the country as a mandatory thing, right? When Venkaiah Naidu Garu was the urban development minister, so he had incorporated this in the smart cities program. So he has done what he can, and thanks to him, he even invited me for a urban development conference where the entire country's mayors and secretaries were there, and he made me release a brochure for Crematorium Mahapasthanam, what we have done here, to highlight this to everyone. So we printed 3,000 brochures and distributed them. Fortunately or unfortunately, only about 5 or 6 commissioners got in touch with us at that time. But once the Prime Minister or once the Chief Minister or these people or some celebrities take up this and talk about this, it will definitely go in a big way in promoting in other cities and towns. And Srinivas Garu, for example, in Guntur, I did it with my own funds in my father's name. And I am telling you, it is not a rocket science where, only Mr. Suresh or Srivani or someone has to take it up. Everyone can take it up. And you are an influential person, Srinivas, because you are in the forefront of Andhra, people's movement. So I think you should also speak about this in several forums, to motivate and help people understand what is the requirement of a good, clean way to give a farewell to your nearing.
So one last question we'll take from Mr. Balarama Varnasi. And Balarama Varnasi, please unmute him.
Yes. Thank you, Srivani Garu. Wonderful. Thank you, Suresh Garu. Yeah, I want to share my thoughts how a standard program of like upgrading all the crematoriums all over the country is taken. Say very simply, all we need is maybe some like a Zoom link, some virtual link associated with each crematorium that one college nearby adopts, that connects the global enthusiasts in that crematorium. We can cause teamwork. And I served as the organizing committee volunteer for India Development Coalition of America. Maybe we can make NRIs as one of the directors for each of the crematorium board, like that. Also, yeah, I see. I'm a globalization consultant for US Global Business Forum. Okay, so another way, Suresh Garu, for generating funds all over India is if we provide support for startups and take them to America, rather than like a CSR model which has 2%, thing. For a startup, if you get access to global funds, 10%, 20% you can negotiate, and we can list them to any causes of your choice. I would like to get in touch with you offline and to discuss further. Okay.
Sure, I'm open to discussion and understanding, and I think Vanigar is the initiative. I think you should tie up with her so that a proper strategy can be adopted, and you could spread it in whatever fashion you might feel deemed fit, and definitely we will support in that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Srivani Garu. Like I'm associated with Srimani Garu, your sister. I got an invite from her only. We will plan one, big program all over India. Cast teams and teamwork for that. Okay.
Ms. Raki Kankaria, please. Next question from Mr. Venugopala Vemula.
My question is that how are we spreading the awareness to reach to the very rural level, very rural backgrounds, to scale the awareness, and how are we going to implement? What is the project plan? So that's what is my question. Am I clear, ma'am?
Yes, you're clear. See, awareness in the villages or the grassroots level.
Exactly, sir.
Where do you belong?
I belong to a village called Konne, which is into Bachanapet Mandal, Janagan district.
It's in Telangana.
At Telangana, yes, sir.
So you are the one who has to initiate it in your village.
Yes, of course I did. But yeah, to spread it across.
So it's a word of mouth and it's a people-to-people communication, right? So one is everyone, multiple times in this last 4-5 years, this issue has come up in media and other places, and everyone knows about it. There are multiple videos on this. So the message is known. The other thing is every village. A village is a community of about maximum about 500 houses with about 1,500, 2,000 population. Everyone is known to each other and everyone is related to each other in some or the other, right? And everyone, if anyone dies in the village, the whole village goes, shares the agony, shares the pain, and, goes to the crematorium and, attends the ceremonies and all, unlike in cities and towns, right? So they should understand that every time they go to their own crematorium, which doesn't have a proper compound wall, which doesn't have a proper water system, which doesn't have a proper fire, which doesn't have a proper, the Katikapari there. There are Katikaparis, but that fellow, if he doesn't get a body in a month, he has to die. So do you want this fellow to pray that every month 5 or 6 people should die so that he can get his 15,000? No. So if the village, like what you are doing with your pujari, your village temple, the pujari gets some money, some income. So similarly, whether anyone dies, they don't die. The village should be able to pay that person and his family maybe 10,000 or 15,000 or some income. Otherwise, what happens? He has to look for some alternate daily wage jobs. He will anyway do that, but he will keep on, crying that he's not getting enough income to make his family survive. In addition to that, people like you, who are, I think you might be an NRI. Are you an NRI? You are muted.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. No, I'm not an NRI. I've been there in different countries, but I'm back to India and start up my own startup here.
So where are you?
Yes. My company name is Velox Tech Solutions, which is an IT and system integration company. I'm based in Hyderabad. Hyderabad.
So if you have a circle of about 10 or 20 friends, you ask your 20 friends to take up this in their villages. And the government of Telangana will give 10 lakhs. You add another 2 or 5 lakhs to that and complete it, and you put it in your father's name or your family name or something. Do it. So this will spread the word across the state.
Wonderful, sir. In fact, we would like to. So the only thing is we just wanted to know the process and how to get it, how to get into, because we do have a very good community and we have a very good network. In fact, we would like to do it. That is the only reason I asked the question, that how can we spread it and what is the project plan and process. So anyways,
please apply to Vishwa.
Team, sir, for the further procedure.
Request, please apply to Vishwa that the place you would like to start a crematorium and how you would like to go about it, and we'll get back to you on how to support you. Anybody who would like to start a crematorium in their villages or towns, please start a campaign. You could start a campaign in Vishwa.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Next question, it's in a chat box. Where do I get information about Mahaprasthanam if I want to know more about it?
I think we have a website, so they can go into the website and have a look. I think it is vaikunthamahaprasthanam.com. So we will share.
We can put it in the chat box if anybody can do that. Then another question is, how can we donate to Mahaprasthanam effort? Please let us know if we can pitch in.
Whoever has asked that question, I would strongly recommend that whichever is their native place or whichever is their city or something. They should look at donating to that initiative there. Because at Mahaprasthanam, we are not taking any donations. So through Viswa, you can donate and you can take it up at wherever you want.
And other than solar, are there any other sustainable things that are being practiced in the crematorium?
Everything else is practiced. We have a lot of greenery there. We don't use anything which is sustainable, but of course, we are using wood because traditionally people want wood, but we also have the electricity, this thing. So otherwise, it's a pretty green crematorium.
Yeah. So I've covered all the questions that have been put.
I see in the chat box there are about 50 odd messages.
Okay, have I missed anything? I can read. There are a lot of applaud. You've received a lot of applaud for.
No, applauds are fine.
Can we develop the project of Mahaprasthanam as a framework so that it can be adopted by like-minded agencies and NGOs?
Let me do one thing. I'll go one by one. Everyone who has applauded, thank you so much. And from Phoenix Foundation, we are deeply honored. And thank you so much for that. The one question by Ms. Prerna Srivastava. If I want to continue a project for our local crematorium at Dhanbad, ma'am, we will be too happy to support. Please get in touch with Ms. Vani, right? And then I see that I think how many places do you have this facility? Anything in South Bangalore? Ma'am, I'm not in knowledge of Bangalore, but some of my friends and myself, we were talking to the municipal, the Corporation of Bangalore. I have 2 honorary consul generals of Peru and Estonia in Bangalore. So 3 of us are discussing with the commissioner, and soon I think we will do one project in Bangalore. Then any online information, please check my website. Okay, donations, please get in touch with Srivani Garu. This again, Uma is talking about children and upper caste wanting all this. Anyway, I'm not able to understand that. If she's online, she can come online and talk to us. Praveen Goenka, Praveen Goenka is my friend. I think he's online. Praveen Bhai, are you there? He is the Honorary Consul for Estonia. Praveen Bhai?
Namaskar, Suresh Bhai, and namaskar to all the very distinguished guests over here.
He is my honorable colleague in Bangalore. He's the Honorary Consul for Estonia. And Praveen, myself, and Vikram Viswanath, we were discussing how to do a project in Bangalore, and hopefully we will do it faster. Praveen Bhai, would you like to add anything? Would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you so much. Unfortunately, I'm in a remote area, so Wi-Fi strength does not permit me to come on video as well. I have had the good fortune and honor of knowing Shri Suresh Chukapalli Garuji for a number of years, and time isn't sufficient to speak about his largest, say about his magnanimity. What a wonderful human being. Anybody who comes across the way for any good cause is always there to support the good causes. For the crematorium, what you have done, Suresh Bhai, and your foundation, I wish you all success in your mission. I have already mentioned in detail about my observations and feedback. So we'll save time for this, for other audience to also interact with you.
Thank you, brother.
Lots of blessings to you and your foundation, Suresh.
Thank you, brother. I think, Vanigaru, I think almost all of them are covered. If anyone wants to talk, they can.
Yeah. We have one person, Ratan K, that wants to ask a question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, sir. I would like to, I'm sorry, I apologize for the background noise. I'm outside. First, I would just like to thank Vani Garu for setting this conversation up. And Suresh Garu, I had a quick question. Given that you've built such a self-sustaining model, what is the vision you think for this organization and for this kind of service across India, maybe over the next 10 years?
It's a very interesting question you have, Ratan. If the self-sustaining model can take up these kind of initiatives, if some good people can join together and come forward and do this kind of things, the governments are willing to allocate the crematoriums which are available, and they can be made into self-sustainable model with initial capital investment, either through government, through corporates or something. See, what happens is, let us not get into the issue of, I see sometimes this media goes overboard and, they just send a breaking news or saying that, these crematoriums are, during the COVID times I've seen, they said, some of these crematoriums are charging, exorbitantly, they're looting people and things like that. They should understand what they are writing first. These are certain very, very, very delicate areas where you should not touch them. For example, if you wanted to take this up and do it in your place, and you're doing a good work, you've spent all your time, effort, money on this, and suddenly some fellow writes that this man is charging exorbitant money, which is not true, first thing, because these sting operators, they don't even look at anything. One person who gets into your crematorium and gets a cremation done, he might have an issue with the employee there. That fellow may not have respected him properly, or this man must have argued with him, or many things keep happening. Sometimes they even beat up people. We have seen in our crematorium, people have come drunk and they've beaten up from the villages, right? So then what they do, they call some newspaper and say, put all kinds of unfortunate, allegations. Then what happens? You will feel, what is this? I am trying to do something good for the society, and these rascals are writing against me, right? Why should I do this? And immediately you say, okay, get rid of it, abandon it. Several times, this thought has come to us also. I said, sometimes when some officer or someone tries to do something, we say, just take over and we'll get out. See, I have no attachment to anything. I have spent money, I've done a good job. Now I'm handing it over to you, you run it. How does it matter for me? See, I'm not making money out of it, so it doesn't matter for me. So you need a very strong commitment. You need to have a thick skin to run these things. And you need to also make it self-sustained, because every day you can't go begging for donations for someone's death. You understand? For the survival of your employees, for the cleaning of your crematorium. Why will someone, even if they have CSR funds, why will they want to give every month or every year to you? See, once they give, that's good enough. But every time you can't keep on going and asking these people. You are not a UNICEF or you're not a CRY who says, okay, give $100 every month. And 70% of that goes for the use of their own, top, officers, travels and their stays. So we should understand that, that these models can be easily made self-sustainable. But you need to have conviction, you need to be transparent, you need to be open with everything what you do. Then only, we can make it, the olden days, Rotary Club used to be some of the, adopting some of these crematoriums. Generally, Rotary Clubs. They have done a fairly good job. But unfortunately, what is happening today, Rotary Clubs also are not have funds. So they have other priorities also. Like for example, Phoenix Foundation has many priorities. We have adopted a 100-acre forest at Appa Junction. We have adopted a Wipro Lake. So we have adopted an art and culture center in High Tech City. So there are several things which we also do. So our whole life is not crematorium. Because people might think, this fellow has no other work. Many people said, this fellow stepped down as the chairman of his company and he is running after crematoriums. There's no other work. So please understand, Phoenix Foundation or Suresh Chukupalli doesn't do only crematoriums. We want to see how we can give back to the society in whatever fields we want, in education, in various others. So we want thousands of people like you to come out, come forward and do anything, not necessarily a crematorium. You can do anything of your passion, but give back to the society. Maybe time, maybe money, maybe ideas, anything. So, but whatever you do, sustainability is very, very important. Because you can't, Phoenix also cannot give money every year or every month to my own crematorium. But we have,
thank you.
We have models on that. We have models on that, and wherever you want to take up, definitely we will try to guide you on that. Yeah.
Sir, there's one more question. You would like to take it? It's from Mr. Om Prakash.
Yes, thank you. Sir, if I'm not wrong, I attended one of your session in ISB when Mr. Jay Galla, you, all prominent personality was there.
Right.
So the way you are working, absolutely awesome. And we look forward to honor you from our community. So there will be a role model for every individual who can contribute and their money, their value, their time, and any other area also. So look forward to share your mail ID and mobile number if it is possible.
Om Prakash ji, thank you so much. Your honoring me is only your blessings. So kindly share your blessings. That is good enough for me. I am a very, very low-key person, and I normally don't get involved or get into stages. So please excuse me for that. But please give your blessings to us. We will definitely support if you have any ideas, and please share your thoughts with Vani Garu, and we will definitely get connected.
Thank you.
Suresh sir, if you don't mind, my name is Mani. If I may please ask you one question, I think that will also sum up the entire event, because I don't think there are many left. So when we found out that you were going to be on Vishwa Talks for a week, I've been talking to my team, and I've been trying to explain to them what the importance of the work that you're doing is. We're a young team, mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s. And you had touched on a topic earlier in your conversation where you said it doesn't matter who you are, VVIP or not, you're a human being when you get to that stage of life. The topic of today's discussion is dignity in death. And what I was trying to tell them is, as long as we are alive, we have the power and the ability to find dignity for ourselves. But when we are no longer alive, we would want or expect or love for someone else to give us that dignity when we can't help ourselves. Do you think you can talk on this point, from a philosophical standpoint, what the importance of such dignity would be to a person?
I have seen thousands of deaths in the last 6 years of starting of this Mahaprasthana. And you will not believe, early morning at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I get a call. I know for certain, because none of my friends or relatives call me at that hour. Morning 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, if I get a call, or before the 8 o'clock, I 100% know that it is some, tragedy. Officers, judges, politicians, businessmen, everyone who's known to us. It's not that, they can't get access to the crematorium, right? Their PA can stop directly to the crematorium and everything will be done in a process so there's no hiccups. Because several of my friends told me that even without informing you, we were able to get the same service. But people call me. And unfortunately, in my this thing, if anyone calls me, other than the service which happens there, because they have informed me, I also make it a point that I also attend that funeral. So that means you should imagine in a month how many funerals I keep attending, right? See, when I see the families who go to the crematorium, they are in deep, deep distress, right? And you might be the VIP or you might be a normal man. You don't know at that time what to do. Every person other than you will keep advising you. You should wear this dress. You should not do this. You should eat. You should not eat. You should, do various things. You should put a diya here. You should not put it here. So you should put the body this way. So many people keep advising you because even they also don't know what it is, right? Because death, we feel that it doesn't come to our house, right? In several apartments in Hyderabad, now I have heard that the apartment owners doesn't allow the dead body to come to the apartment. Can you imagine? They feel that they will not die. My neighbor died, his body should not come here. But I will never die. Strange. So what happens is the moment you die, you are no more called a person or anything, you are called a body. So death is inevitable for everyone. So in this philosophy, when you go, when the last rites of the near and dear have to happen, wouldn't it be good that if a smooth, hassle-free, clean and good cremation happens to your near and dear? Or you would be okay if you go to some place where it is very bad, bushes are there, you can't even walk, you can't even stand, there is no place to sit, stand, or even if you go into a place where there are no toilets or washrooms, what will you be doing? Will you be bothered about the body or will you be bothered about the surroundings? So every one of us should understand and appreciate the importance of a cremation, whether it is for your near and dear, for their friends, or even an outsider. So philosophically speaking, the Bhagavad Gita always says, we are just getting out of this body and going into some other body, right? So for us, it is nothing but, getting out, the soul gets out and it goes somewhere. But the remains have to be, cremated somewhere. So it is, at your age, it is a very disturbing discussion to have, but there is no alternative. Because at your age, you will find your grandfathers, your elderly people going, and you will be seeing the transformation of having a grandparent or someone who's very close to you and departing. So sometimes you will be asked to go there. So imagine the problems which will arise when you go there. So each one of us have a fundamental duty. We can't expect government to do everything. So we have to support the government and we have to support the cause of the community. So that's my philosophy in life.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Ma'am, back to you if you would like to close.
One second. Thank you so much. You have taken this time to address this webinar, and you are willing to support anybody across India to make this a reality. You being a pioneer, you coming out with this idea and doing itself is a great thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much to Vishwa for having me with you. And thank you, Vishwa team, including Mani and all your young team. It's a wonderful opportunity for me to talk about what passions we have, and hope at least even 1%, if I'm able to deliver what you wanted, I would be very happy. And we'll continuously be in touch, and we will see how this movement goes. Thank you so much.